She didn't respond to my text messages. She ghosted me. This is so hard. I do feel like I have a new beginning, so I need to wipe off these tears.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to Graham. Today I have an absolutely astronomical video for you. It is the grand freaking finale of Big Ed's insane saga trying to search for love on 90 Day Fiance. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last episode we ever see from the guy, and needless to say, a lot goes down in this. So make sure you watch until the very end and leave a like if you enjoy this. It really helps me out in the algorithm. Without any further ado, thank you so much for your patience. Let's get right on into this reaction. I had a great time watching this one, and I'm sure you guys will as well. Also, stay tuned for some pretty huge news coming up in this video later on. Anyways, let's get right on into it. All right, so finally we're getting around to reacting to this. Last time we left off with Ed, he was in Mexico with Kaori trying to get this relationship underway, and I think he kind of scared her a little bit when he brought up marriage and continued to talk about their future or their relationship when it clearly made her super uncomfortable. So now the day is here. He's supposed to go on this crazy sunset yacht voyage with her, and we're gonna see if she ends up wanting to take this relationship to the next level, much like he's attempting to do for the past, few days.
I'm here in Manzanillo with Kaori, but last night it didn't go well.
Yeah, she literally had to whip out the freaking Google Translate to tell you to shut the heck up about talking about your future and saying that she's just gonna sit here while you talk. So I would say you claiming that it wasn't going well is kind of an understatement, Ed, but for him, that's just a medium not going well date. He's had some terrible dates on this show to where he thinks that's, pretty good in comparison, but it's not. I think their whole relationship is kind of in shambles here. Not that it ever really launched off the ground to begin with, but he's kind of wasting his time over here in Mexico, if you ask me, because clearly this is fizzling out to be nothing, and they're not going to elevate this to be in a very serious relationship, at least from what I've seen. Okay, she does not seem all that interested. She's way too worried about being present and grounded, and this man's trying to figure out what their wedding venue is going to look like on their third date. That's his issue right now.
Even though last night was a disaster, today I still invited Kaori to a nighttime cruise on this yacht to see the sunset.
So despite that terrible train wreck of a date, Ed is still feeling good. He's chilling in the hot tub at the hotel the morning after, sipping on a cold brewski, thinking, life is good. I'm about to go on this sunset voyage with my boo. Well, not quite my boo yet, but I'm trying to make that happen. And man's living life good right now. But knowing TLC and the way they edit these shows, something is about to happen. I don't think she's gonna be showing up to this, to be completely honest, because I remember seeing a preview last week of him and his mom sitting on a boat and just like, him all sad. So I'm pretty sure that's where we're heading, but let's see where this goes.
That sucks.
Oh man, we got the sad music coming in that I unfortunately have to pause it for because we all know that's gonna get scooped up if I even play 2 seconds of this background music that shows how sad freaking Ed is. But yeah, the boat takes off and Kaori is nowhere to be seen. It's kind of expected. He was not getting a response this morning. I don't know what he was really thinking was gonna happen, but if she's not texting you, for the hours leading up to this, she's not just gonna miraculously show up. This isn't some sort of rom-com where the boat's taking off and she runs up to the shore of the dock like, Ed, wait for me. No, that's not happening. You clearly scared her off, and now Ed is gonna have to take this sunset cruise by himself. Well, not by himself, actually. He gets to go on it with his mom, which in the long run, relationships with him, they don't tend to work out all that well. I think this is actually a way better option for him. He will now have the memory of going on this beautiful sunset yacht cruise with his mom, seeing the beautiful coastline of Mexico, and just, witnessing a glorious sunset. I would much rather have that memory with my mother if I was him, you know what I mean? Especially with her being older and him being older. I mean, how many more times could they have an opportunity like this? I think it's kind of sweet, even though it's obviously sad that Ed is getting full-on ghosted at this point. I don't know really if he quite deserves that. I think there's still, a reason to have good communication in a relationship, and it's kind of cowardly to just ghost somebody and play with their feelings like that. But now we're about to see a montage pretty much of Ed just being super depressed on this boat. I honestly think the man might shed some tears on this boat right now, but let's see. Yo, really quick, I mentioned in the intro I have some huge news, and now I am finally ready to share it with you all. I am launching an official Patreon where I am doing bonus reaction content of videos that I simply cannot do on YouTube, whether it be for copyright issues or for, terms of service issues. I am going to be unfiltered over there and trying out a new video concept that I'm thinking of doing, a new style that includes face cam that I might bring over to the channel if it gets enough love, or if I can iron it out and have it be at a level that I enjoy, or I might just keep that vibe over on Patreon to give you guys an incentive to support me in that way. Don't worry, this isn't going to change any of the videos on this channel. I'll still be uploading the same amount of content and the same type of content, but it's just another level of content that you guys can watch me react to, and it's an absolute blast. It's way more laid back over there. So if you want to enjoy that and have some access to some other amazing perks, make sure you check out my Patreon. Once again, this is not going to affect any of the main content on the channel, but it's patreon.com/GrimYT, as in Grim YouTube. Check that out if you'd like, and I appreciate any and all support. You guys are freaking amazing. Anyways, let's get back into this insane story with Big Ed.
How you're feeling right now? You want to just pour your heart out to your mom?
You're on the boat and she's not.
What kind of answer is that, Ed? I mean, you gotta be at least thankful that you're getting to share this experience with your mom. I know it's like your second choice here, but you don't have to word it like that. She's like trying to have him vent to her about this situation and be a good mom so that he has a shoulder to cry on, and he's just like, well, you're on this freaking boat, not her, and I can't kiss you like I was trying to kiss her, so this kind of freaking sucks. I'd much rather be on a date right now. Like, dude, you don't gotta be a spoiled brat. I know you didn't get your way, but at least share this moment with your mother and make it nice, you know what I mean?
I'm glad you learned from these experiences.
Yeah, me too.
I think Ed has learned a lot from past relationships.
I slightly disagree with the mother here. I don't know how much he's actually learned from past relationships because he seems to be making the same mistakes, but at least he's, you know, a little bit more aware each time of those mistakes being made, yet still makes them. So I don't expect this man to get better overnight, but I don't know if that's fully a true statement. Either way, they spend the rest of this boat cruise kind of just talking to each other about Ed's past relationships and his inability to find somebody. You know what I mean? He's saying he's running out of time. The man's got gray hair. He's in his 50s, I believe, or about to be entering his 50s. I don't quite remember his age. I think he's right on the cusp there. So, you know, he's getting worried. You start to get that, you know, I guess it's not midlife crisis, but post-midlife crisis when you're solo and you really want to have that soulmate and that partner to be your ride or die until the end of your days. And now he's worrying that he's withering away and kind of, you know, getting to an age where he's not quite able to go on dates the same way that he wants to. And he's kind of, you know, facing this father time type thing of him just aging rapidly and feeling like he's gonna die alone. So that's quite a scary, you know, existential crisis type conversation, but I do actually wholeheartedly see where Ed's coming from, and I can see how that would be a massive insecurity for him. So it kind of explains some of his behavior and his desperation. I feel like a lot of us can't quite be in his shoes because we're younger people and we have that feeling of like, oh, we got so much life in front of us, something is bound to happen. Now he's realizing I don't have that many chapters ahead of me in my life, as many as I had, you know, when I was in my 30s or 40s. So I really need to crank down and find somebody. They play some sad piano music, and I mean, it is sad in some ways, but I gotta say once again, this is a beautiful memory to be made with his mother here. They have this just super cinematic scene of them out in the ocean, seeing this sunset, and I would not want to trade that for anything. I think Ed made a very good decision inviting his mom out here instead once he got ghosted. I think all three of them were supposed to go originally, but this is just a great memory. Now moving on to the next day, Ed's gotta be packing up, and he's gotta be leaving Mexico, so let's see how that goes.
So, even though she ghosted me, when I woke up this morning, I messaged Kaori to see if I could say goodbye.
And how did she react?
She agreed to see me in private.
So I think a big portion of Kaori kind of ghosting Ed and feeling like things were moving so rapidly has to be the fact that he's filming this TV show. That's a stressful environment to not only be meeting someone from another country, trying to come over here and fall in love with you rapidly, even though, you know, you kind of just got matched through a mutual friend. And now they also have this camera crew tagging along, filming every portion of your relationship's endeavors. That's pretty stressful. So I get why she wanted to pretty much sit down with Ed off camera and clear some things up. Hopefully they were able to resolve that as adults, and he doesn't hold any, you know, grudges against her. I don't think he does. Ed also seems like somebody who was kind of trying to make this work when it clearly wasn't going to, and as a result, you know, he's just realizing there was simply no compatibility there, and, you know, they were not meant to be together for a long time. So hopefully he takes that idea and that kind of softens the blow here, but he still looks pretty sad boy while he's packing up.
I began to see that I most likely misread the signs. She said, we were just gonna be friends. I feel rejected.
Okay, that to me is a little bit disingenuous. if she was more forthcoming with that and saying that she wanted to be friends after meeting with him and feeling like the vibe wasn't right, then that would have been good. But at the same time, she was kind of, I don't know, encouraging him in these conversations, not encouraging him, but allowing him to go on these conversations about the future of their relationship. And then she would, you know, say things that were kind of passive aggressive versus actually saying, okay, I don't see you like that. Unfortunately, I think we should just continue as friends. So that's why this comes as such a blow to Ed. He's really thinking that he was on the cusp of having a serious relationship with this woman. And then she ghosts him and then says, okay, the reason I ghosted you was you were misreading it. I just wanted to be friends. Like, I don't know about her, but him flying over here shows that he wanted to be more than friends. And I think she should have been a little bit more, you know, straight up with that. But I'm glad before he leaves Mexico, he's getting the closure that he needs. And she was upfront about that, at least in the moment. So very defeatedly, Ed leaves Mexico with his mother and Teddy, and they fly back home. So now we're going to catch up with him. I think it's been a few weeks. That was actually the end of one episode. I'm covering 2 episodes worth of content in this one, this finale here. So let's see how things have been with Ed back in America.
I've been back from Mexico for about 2 weeks, and I haven't heard from her. And since then, I've had one of the worst things that could ever happen to you happen.
Oh, man. Okay, so now we are getting to a portion of the show that I unfortunately had been spoiled on and was pretty, what's the word? Not excited, to say the least, to cover this. But I think we all know where this is going. Ed has flown back to America. He's back in his house, and he's talking about the situation with Kaori, which now seems so minimal compared to what he's speaking about in the present. He's holding Teddy's ball, saying that something terrible has happened, and unfortunately we know where this is going. I really feel this is going to be a pretty heavy part of his story, but you know what, we're covering Big Ed today. We got to go in head first and be here with him through this moment, because this is something that needs to be covered. Teddy has literally been the freaking MVP of this show. Can you tell me a scene where Teddy was not involved in some capacity? You can't. There is no possible way. So let's get through this. Hopefully I don't shed any tears, but I think it's bound to happen because this is a heartbreaking moment for Ed. It seems as though Teddy has passed.
They didn't think he had that much longer to live. Like, he knew he was going somewhere. I probably dozed off for like maybe 30 minutes, and I woke up and he was gone.
Dude, just hearing the heartbreak in Ed's voice right now, it really does hurt, actually. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't shedding a little bit of tears here.
He was so warm, but the hardest part was I had to pull myself together, and I had to wrap him in a blanket because I didn't want anybody to know that he died.
Man, dude, this is supposed to be a fun show, Ed. Well, I don't think I've ever cried on this channel, but there we go, being all sad. But dude, this is just something that you don't wish upon your worst enemy. I can't even compose myself. One sec, guys, sorry. All right, I think I'm good now. I composed myself. I'm sorry. This is just obviously very emotional for Ed and for me. I don't care how many wrongdoings this dude has done in his career on this show or how many things I've mocked him for. This just simply freaking sucks, dude. And it's one of the unfortunate parts of pet ownership. You know this day's coming, but I wasn't expecting this stuff to happen on the show, to be completely honest. That is a gut punch for me alone, and I can't imagine how Ed was feeling in this situation. I mean, this dude literally just flew back from across the world. Not really. It wasn't that far of a trip. But still, I imagine it's across the world. Anytime you catch a flight, it's got to feel super far away from home. He is heartbroken once again and then returns home only to have his dog pass away. That is an absolute just showcase of how life can come at you fast and hit you from all sides. And it shows how strong Ed is that he can actually make it through that. So again, I've really dished out some severe insults to this guy, but I gotta say in this moment, he is pretty strong. And I do wish my biggest condolences to him for losing Teddy, man.
This is so hard. He was my life. He was my buddy. He went everywhere with me.
And that is literally facts. What I was saying earlier is true. I don't think there's a single scene of this show where Teddy isn't at least mentioned or shown in some capacity. Like, this dude has a whole world of hurt when it comes to emotional, relationships with people. But you got to think about one thing. There is one creature on this earth that has loved him unconditionally throughout the entire series, and that was Teddy, man. I think there's a lot of times where Ed simply could not have gotten through the heartbreak he was going through, even though, often it was self-inflicted with the way he was behaving in these relationships, but still, he was just, pretty stupid in a lot of these and didn't realize what he was doing, but Teddy was there to, you know, mend his heart, and he was a friend to him throughout this series. So I think, you know, it seems like I'm probably dwelling on this situation a little bit, but I really do think that it cannot be understated the impact that this animal had for this man. And I'm really hoping the episode doesn't just end with Ed having his dog pass away and he doesn't find love at all, but I don't think that is. We still got quite a few minutes here. Let's keep chugging along. R.I.P. Teddy, bro. You were an absolute legend and you will never be forgotten.
This has been one of the hardest parts of my life. It's bittersweet because I do feel like I have a new beginning, so I need to wipe off these tears.
That's the freaking mentality to have, Ed. That's what I'm talking about, bro. You may find yourself in a situation like Ed here where it feels like life is just beating you up from all angles and there's no way out, but you can see that as, instead of, you know, a sad thing, you can see that as a way to reinvent yourself and bring yourself up from the very bottom. There's nowhere but up from here, you know what I mean? And I think that's kind of the mentality that Ed has right now. So I'm glad to see that he isn't letting this just absolutely destroy him, because many people, including me, I think, would be just destroyed from this and allow life to continue to beat you up, you know, for years past that. But instead he's like, nope, I am going to honor Teddy and keep moving on in his honor and, you know, trying out this love thing, however it may work out.
Wipe off these tears and get ready to go see somebody that knew how much Teddy and I loved each other.
Okay, whoa, okay. My emotions right now, you guys. First off, we have this whole ghosting thing, which was already crazy. This whole season's been focused on Kaori, or Coyote as he calls her, and that just kind of all wrapped up quickly. And now he's back home with a dog that is no longer there, and now claiming that he's about to meet up with someone who knew how close he was to Teddy. I knew that obviously him and Liz still had some stuff going on, because I even covered the fact that they were supposedly engaged before this show got, you know, released, this second season. But if this is how they're wrapping it up, talk about a Game of Thrones final season situation. We have so many plot lines and loose threads going on here that they're trying to tie up within the last 10 minutes. And I don't know if my freaking heart can handle all of this, okay? I'm pretty sure he's talking about Liz here, guys.
People started sending me flowers. There's one set of flowers that I got and I couldn't figure out who it was from. It wasn't until I looked on my Ring camera and I saw that it was somebody that was very special to me in my life.
Liz freaking slid in the DMs when Teddy passed away, which is, I mean, the amicable thing to do. You have a history with this person and you know how much this animal meant to him. So yeah, you want to reach out and give your condolences, but I think that actually reopened an avenue of them conversating, and now they're speaking together again. Again, they have not shown her on screen yet, but I know without a doubt he's talking about freaking Liz. If it's somehow Rose after all of this, I don't know what to say. I might have a full-on aneurysm, and then by proxy this video will never be uploaded because I'm just laying slumped on my keyboard. But I don't think that's the case. I'm pretty sure with like 99% certainty he's talking about freaking Liz right here.
And I started to reach out and she started to reach out back, and I really think she's the one.
Well, you heard it from Ed here. Maybe this whole trip in Mexico gave him some extra insight into his life and his emotional status and just his relationship that he had with Liz overall. I know it started out extremely rocky and continued to be rocky from then on out, but we got to remember this is a TV show. There was many elements to the relationship that were simply too boring to showcase on the show, and that was when it was going well. So maybe they do have a very serious connection, and who are we to say? You know what I mean? This man's life is up to him. It's not about us, the viewers. We're just along for the ride with the cameras filming him and all. But go Ed, hop on that freaking Vespa with your 2 helmets and go meet up with the love of your life. Let's get it. Let's see this freaking reunion. I don't even care anymore. After the emotional freaking wreckage that I just suffered seeing Teddy pass away, I am ready for anything, and I want a happy ending for this man, despite any times I might have said otherwise, okay? All of the hate for Ed is out the window at this point. Let's just see this man collect some W's in the final stage of this freaking show. Get hype with me. Let's go.
We talked all night long. We finally fell asleep. And I woke up in the morning and said, "Are you my forever?" And she said, "Yes, I am."
Oh my God, I cannot freaking believe it, dude. They're back. I don't even care about any of their history at this point, dude. They might be toxic as hell, but you know what? Most relationships are to some degree. I just want to see Ed happy, like I said, after seeing the passing of Teddy, and this man is on cloud 9 right now. He's completely forgotten about his misadventures in Mexico. This whole season was a freaking waste because he's coming back into the arms of the one true person person that he belongs to in his eyes. He even said after their first date back, he woke up and was like, you know what, I realized you're my forever, and she realized it too. So apparently they're just back on full force. That whole incident with the tell-all, them talking about how terrible their relationship was, apparently they've sorted that out off screen, and some time was all they needed to really make each other realize how much they needed each other in their lives. So I think this is official, guys. Ed's about to be married to Liz. I'm pretty sure they're engaged at this point, but I'm sure they're going to be talking about this. We got about a few minutes left. Let's go through it.
So how long have you guys been back together?
Oh gosh. Today is Saturday. Like 8 days.
Bro, they are that toxic couple in high school that just gets, you know, broken up and back together, and when they get back together, they move super fast. But again, I am not one to judge. I think there is elements to this relationship that we simply do not know about, with them, you know, having limited filming of their relationship. We're not with them 24/7. I'm sure they actually had some really good times, and they're adults, so they can make this decision of hopping back into this very quickly. She was the one that was resistant to Ed going in super ham, but I think she's actually the one this time around that's totally fine with moving fast, because they have already gone through most of the beginner stages of the relationship. It was just, you know, 6 months ago before they stopped talking for a while. But sometimes, like I said, you just need that distance and that time to mend certain wounds. And I think Ed has grown a lot as a person, and his adventures in Mexico have made him grow even further. So I think he deserves this at this point. I know there may be some haters out there that really think that Ed just deserves to have no love at all, but I think I'm converted at this point. I think man just deserves to settle down, and this is a great ending for him.
I'm so glad you're in my life. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I can't imagine for one more minute my life without you. In those 6 months,
So at this dinner, they both are sitting down, and Ed apologizes for pretty much throwing Liz away. It sounds like she agrees with him, so I think the situation was a little bit misconstrued on the show, but it seems like he was the one that actually curved her and was like, you know what, we're done. I know he was having some issues with her in the past. I think Ed really is coming to terms with the fact that he made a big mistake leaving Liz, and now they're together forever. I mean, they literally show off the ring as well, so it is confirmed that Ed and Liz are actually engaged. The rumors were true. I was not sure how that was happening with the whole season being focused on Mexico. Again, it feels like they're wrapping this up just rapidly fast, but I guess that's how life goes sometimes. It wasn't really up to TLC how this was paced. They just kind of got back together, and within 8 days, they're re-engaged. Or I don't even know if they were engaged in the first place, but they're freaking engaged. So that's insane, dude. They're moving at lightning speed, but apparently both of them are comfortable with it, so I can't hate.
the next day I went and bought a ring. And I said, screw it. I reach into my safe and I pull out this ring at 3:15 in the morning.
So yeah, guys, I think that is pretty much the ending of Big Ed's saga on 90 Day Fiance. He spends some more time bragging about the ring, and he says 13,100 reasons that Liz should never leave me. So he's still pretty materialistic, talking about the freaking 13 grand he spent on her ring. But you know what? There's certain elements of Ed that I don't expect to ever change, and that's one of them, him being materialistic. But I think that's something that might attract Liz to him anyways. Look, I don't know about their relationship and the complexities of it. All I know is this man is ending up happy, and I think that's what he deserves after this long journey. I know there have been some very problematic eras of Ed's life, but I think he has truly grown as a person over this series, and it is insane to think of how long we've been following this dude. It's been 2 years at this point. I don't know, time's kind of been dilating. Now that we've been going through, you know, the 2020s, it's just been chaos, but I'm pretty sure it's been a few years, and that is mind-blowing to think of the progression that this man has had. I gotta just give a round of applause to TLC and the crew for finding such an absolutely magnificent man to showcase on this show. I mean, there's nobody that's so full of cringe and funny moments as Big Ed, and I think I'm really sad that this era is coming to an end, but you know what? We want to see it end in a good way, and I think this was the best possible ending. Him ending up back up with Liz. Of course, it's sad that Teddy passed away, but that is a portion of life. People come and people go, and so do animals. Animals even quicker than humans. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll get a new cute dog together, and that will be his new Teddy. Of course, he can never be replaced, but he needs to fill that void with a dog somehow. So let me know what you thought of this episode down in the comments below. I would love to hear your guys' take. Oh man, this recording is so long at this point, but I think it's worthy of having a giant video for this finale of Big Ed. You know what I mean? I cannot understate the amount of support you guys have given my channel throughout this entire series. We still have the tell-all, which I'm going to cover, but I don't really count that as part of the story. That's just some extra drama they stir up at the end of the season for clicks, and of course I'm going to react to that because it's freaking hilarious. So expect that very soon, and again, check out the Patreon if you're interested in supporting me in a way beyond just liking and subscribing and viewing the videos and commenting. Do all that if you haven't already and you don't plan on checking out the Patreon. That is the best way to support me without any money. But for those of you that decide to check it out, I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for supporting me in that way, and I hope you enjoy the bonus reaction content that I'm going to be posting to that channel. It's going to be pretty lit. But as always, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I think that does it for Big Ed's story on my channel. Until next time, guys, peace out.